All right, welcome back to the rest of the story. Now, I've mentioned it enough times now. We ended up bringing this back. I had it for sale for a while. Kind of pulled it off the market. For one, tillage tools are a pretty cold or low demand item right now, and I'm not willing to sell this particular piece of equipment for what it's currently trending for. At least what they're going for in auction time. This machine I bought for about 15 grand back in 2011, fall of 2011. Sounds about right. And as of the last couple sales on auction time I've been watching, which is a pretty broad view as to what stuff's really going for, and it's currently valued, I'd say, right around that $5,500 range, and I am not willing to let it go for that. So it did sit outside while it was at the dealership. It was on consignment. I did have a few calls on it, and I did have it on Craigslist for a little while. But my problem is if I'm going to just give it away, I might also keep it and use it for what it's good at, and it is good at moving dirt. We do have ditches this year. I mean, everybody has ditches this year. Mother Nature did not discriminate in that aspect. And this particular piece of equipment is really good at moving dirt. It's good for filling in ditches. It's really good for floofing the soil. When I say that, that's not necessarily a good thing. As far as a seed bed prepping tool, the way this machine sits, it does not make the best seed bed compared to the Earthmaster VT. Bringing up that machine, in the live stream the other night, somebody had asked me if we could go through and put the Earthmaster blades, which they're not Earthmaster, they're soil razor blades. So I actually found the guy down at the Louisville Farm Show. I was definitely more interested in going to that show, going to the booths and the dealers, than I was really interested in going and looking at all the nice, shiny, brand new equipment that we would never buy. And the company that actually supplies some of the local dealers with those soil razor blades, I was actually able to talk to him, and he gave me the part number that I would need to give to the local dealership, which is actually Hennessy up in Dodgeville, to get the blades that would fit this machine. So yes, I could go through and set this up with the same blades that the Earthmaster has on it. Really considering it. I'm really strongly considering it. It wouldn't be, I don't know how well it would actually work as far as like a seed bed prepping tool, because the blades on this are set a little bit farther apart than the Earthmaster. These are 9-inch spacings, spaced at 9 inches from blade to blade. I do want to say the Earthmaster is 7.5, so you do tend to get a little bit more of the clumps, especially if you're not supposed to do it, but tillage in wet soils, and you do tend to get some clumping. But if the conditions are right, what tends to happen is that when the dirt is coming out the back of the machine, and if you go into How Farms Works older videos, Ryan has footage of me, and it really bugs me that I don't have the videos, because it was a cell phone video of my grandpa using the 630 on his 4440. It was the last time that he ever worked soil in the spring. It was his last spring, and he was using this tool to seed down oats in the spring. But what happens is that these blades actually throw the dirt up coming out the back, and because there is no harrow, there is no rotary, a rolling basket to push the soil back down, you get soil that is basically like planting into a pillowcase. And what happens is you get these deep trenches from the planting unit, the row unit of the planter going through, and it makes these valleys. And because we have an abundance of rain typically in the spring, what happens is that those valleys get filled up full of water and dirt, because the rain washes all that soil down in on top of the seed, and your ideally placed seed at, say, 2 inches deep, all of a sudden it becomes 3 inches deep or 3.5 inches deep, and your soil emergence just goes down. So if I do decide to keep this tool, depending on what I want to use it for, as of right now I'm going to run it the way it is, just to use it this spring. Going forward here, I'm really going to have to do some soul searching, decide if I want to put the soil razor blades on it, or if I'm going to just go ahead and replace it with the exact same blades. The big thing I want to do, though, that the Earthmaster has that I don't like about this piece of equipment is that it does have the solid hangers for the gangs. I would like to look to see if I can't get the spring, that's what the Rock Flex supports or hangers, so it actually has a bit of give to it, so it's not quite so hard on the blades, on the bearings and everything. I haven't broken any of the shafts that go through these gangs. I've replaced a couple because I saw that they were gradually getting loose as we were using them, and it just wasn't worth it. I decided to go ahead and just replace them. We do have some oil leaks that have shown up that were not here when I put it away. This machine does not sit out, like, at all. This is the first year that it's actually been outside this much since I've owned it. I'm a second owner. The first guy that bought it brand new, he had it sitting on an open-faced, well, essentially a cattle shed. It was an open-faced shed, so the sun was able to still hit it. It was still open to the elements, so that's why the paint got faded the way it did. The control here for the fore and aft, that was actually all locked up when I got it. Loosen that up, and the machine actually works really well. It's just my problem is that the blades are dull. They need to be replaced. I just gotta make the decision to go ahead and change them out. I would like to just go ahead and put the soil razor blades on it, put a rolling basket or an aftermarket rolling basket on it, and then see how it performs in the fall for even just dragging it through the corn stalks and getting this corn stalks worked down, knocked over, get a little bit of soil on top of them, so that way the ground can warm up in the spring. The stalks that aren't or weren't already on the ground, it knocks them over, it gets a little bit of dirt on them, so they start to break down, because we were looking at some ground earlier that it's in no-till, and we're noticing that a lot of the stalks are really starting to add up on it. And if we're going to go ahead and keep doing no-till on it, or min-till, if we're not going to drag the chisel plow through the ground, at the very least pull the Earthmaster or pull this through it, to try to get some of that residue to break down, because it's not breaking down fast enough being left on its own. That wind's starting to pick up. So no, this video was shot the same day that I shot my the tractor fixing video, so the cows out there are still the cows that I had already owned. They're pretty content. They got out on me, I'll tell you. That's how it is. I was putting bales in and I thought I had the JCB. I thought I was faster than what I really was, and one of the cows, well, actually two of them, the two red ones, they managed to run around behind me, and I was done. Ryan was already heading down to the other farm with a load of fodder bales, so I ended up having to get the four-wheeler out, which that's where having a four-wheeler in each farm really comes in handy. The Gator works, but the four-wheeler and ATV is so much more nimble, to actually basically turn on a dime, turn on the front tire, and really get after the cattle. The funny thing is she knew she was in trouble, because the second that four-wheeler came out from behind the machine shed, she got out through the back gate. She was about 100 feet behind the stack of bales back there, and she wasn't walking away. She was just kind of trying to get her bearings. And the second I came around the machine shed and she saw the four-wheeler, she bolted right back down to the gate. She knew where she was supposed to be, and she knew that if she didn't get back to the gate herself, I was going to, well, I was more than willing to assist in getting her back down there. So my face is cold, my fingers are cold. I think I'm going to call it a night for real this time. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Stay warm. I don't know where you guys are at in the world, but we're going into March, and right now it's 50-50. I've heard it's going to be cold and wet, which it's still winter, or it's supposed to be warm and dry. I mean, pretty broad statement if you ask me, but I'll take warm and dry. I mean, I don't want to exactly go into drought conditions, but the soil definitely needs to dry out, and we definitely need a chance to go through and fix up a few things, ditches and fences and everything else. So with that, I'll talk to you guys later.